Have you ever woken up in the quiet early morning, swung your legs over the edge of the bed, and felt that sharp, throbbing stiffness in your knees, hands, or lower back? That agonizing feeling where every single joint feels like grinding gears in an unoiled machine. When you ask your doctor, they often give you the same tired answer. Well, that is just what happens when you get older. They prescribe stronger synthetic painkillers or tell you to accept living with daily discomfort. But what if that mainstream narrative is completely wrong? What if painful, swollen joints aren't an unavoidable tax on aging, but rather a cry for help from inside your body? Look down at your hands right now. Notice the subtle swelling around your knuckles, the stiffness when you try to make a fist, or even the deep lines etched around your eyes from carrying daily physical pain. These aren't merely outward marks of time. They are visible red flags warning you that an invisible fire is burning within your tissues. Modern science calls this hidden blaze chronic systemic inflammation. Long before modern pharmaceutical companies existed, ancient biblical tradition pointed toward a sacred pantry of healing provisions, whole foods provided by nature to soothe aching joints, clean out cellular waste, and restore mobility. Today, top medical researchers at institutions like Harvard and the Mayo Clinic are finally confirming what ancient wisdom knew thousands of years ago. These sacred foods possess profound biochemical power to turn down the body's inflammatory response. In this comprehensive 8-part journey, we are exploring 7 extraordinary biblical superfoods backed by clinical research to help you fight chronic inflammation and reclaim comfortable movement. 1. Extra virgin olive oil, the liquid gold of joint relief. Throughout Scripture, the olive tree stands as an enduring symbol of peace, healing, and divine blessing. From the mountains of Galilee to the gardens of Gethsemane, olive oil was far more than a staple ingredient. It was revered as a primary medicinal salve for soothing wounds and nourishing the body. Modern nutritional science has unlocked the exact reason why cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil works so powerfully against joint discomfort. It contains a unique phenolic compound called oleocanthal. Clinical studies reveal that oleocanthal acts on the exact same chemical pathways in the human body as non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs like ibuprofen. It naturally inhibits the COX-1 and COX-2 enzymes, the primary drivers of swelling, cartilage breakdown, and joint pain. When you consume pure extra virgin olive oil daily, its active polyphenols bathe your vascular system and joint linings in protective antioxidants. Instead of harsh pharmaceuticals that can irritate your stomach lining, pure olive oil gently calms inflamed tissues from the inside out, helping reduce morning stiffness and restoring fluid, effortless motion to your limbs. To truly understand why extra virgin olive oil is often called liquid gold for joint relief, we must look deeper into how it acts within your bloodstream. When chronic inflammation takes hold, your immune system releases inflammatory chemical messengers known as pro-inflammatory cytokines. These molecules travel straight to your joint tissue, eroding cartilage, drying up lubricating synovial fluid, and sending constant pain signals to your brain. When you consume pure, cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil, its active polyphenol oleocanthal acts almost identically to over-the-counter painkillers like ibuprofen, inhibiting the exact COX-1 and COX-2 pathways responsible for swelling. But unlike synthetic medication, olive oil works gently with your digestion without damaging your stomach lining or straining your liver. To harness this biblical remedy, aim for 2 tablespoons of unrefined extra virgin olive oil daily. Drizzle it raw over fresh salads, steamed vegetables, or warm soups. Always ensure your olive oil comes in a dark glass bottle, kept away from heat and direct sunlight to preserve its delicate bioactive compounds. 2. Boswellia, frankincense, the sacred resin that cools joint fire. When you hear the word frankincense, your mind likely journeys to ancient biblical times, the precious, aromatic treasure brought by the Magi to honor the newborn king. For thousands of years, this resin harvested from the trunk of the Boswellia serrata tree in arid biblical landscapes was prized above gold, not only for its sacred scent, but for its legendary power as a medicinal salve. Ancient healers noticed that those who chewed or drank preparations of Boswellia resin maintained strong, supple joints well into their twilight years. Modern clinical pharmacology has finally revealed the precise biochemical secret behind this ancient resin: boswellic acids. While most medical treatments focus strictly on suppressing the COX inflammatory enzymes, Boswellia targets a completely different, highly destructive biological pathway known as the 5-LOX 5-lipoxygenase pathway. By blocking the 5-LOX enzyme, boswellic acids halt the production of leukotrienes, the specific inflammatory chemicals directly responsible for cartilage destruction, joint swelling, and chronic stiffness in conditions like osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis. Clinical trials published in top medical journals show that patients taking standardized Boswellia extracts experienced significant reductions in knee pain, increased joint flexion, and improved walking distance within as little as 7 to 14 days. It effectively stops cartilage erosion at the cellular level while soothing painful tissue. For optimal absorption, modern herbalists recommend standardized Boswellia serrata extracts containing at least 60% boswellic acids, ideally taken with a meal containing healthy fats. While Boswellia halts the destructive 5-LOX inflammatory pathway from the outside, your body simultaneously requires an internal rebuilding block to repair damaged cell membranes and keep joint tissues soft, supple, and resilient. That brings us to our third sacred biblical food, a tiny, golden powerhouse that has nourished civilizations for over 3,000 years. 3. Flaxseed, the ancient golden seed of omega-3 power. In the biblical era, flax, Linum usitatissimum, was one of the most vital and honored crops in the Holy Land. Celebrated throughout Scripture, from the virtuous woman in Proverbs 31 who worked diligently with flax, to the sacred priestly garments crafted from pure fine linen, this humble plant was cherished not only for its strong textile fibers but for its deeply nourishing seeds. Ancient healers observed that populations consuming ground flax seeds maintained vibrant strength, smooth skin, and remarkably flexible joints well into old age. To understand why flaxseed works so profoundly against chronic joint pain, look closely at how your body ages. Have you ever noticed how stiff, aching joints feel remarkably like old, dried-out rubber gaskets in a car engine? When your body lacks essential healthy fats, your cell membranes become rigid, fragile, and chronically inflamed. Every movement creates friction, causing micro-tears in delicate cartilage and triggering intense localized swelling. Modern nutritional science reveals that flaxseed is nature's single richest plant-based source of alpha-linolenic acid, an essential omega-3 fatty acid that your body cannot produce on its own. When you consume ground flax seeds, your body converts ALA into powerful anti-inflammatory signaling molecules called resolvins and protectins. As their names suggest, these specialized cellular compounds actively resolve inflammatory fires and protect joint tissue from ongoing destruction. Clinical trials published in prestigious medical journals confirm that daily ALA consumption significantly lowers circulating bloodstream markers of systemic inflammation, specifically C-reactive protein, interleukin-6E, and tumor necrosis factor alpha. By systematically turning down these inflammatory chemical alarms, flaxseed quenches overactive immune responses, lubricating dry joints and dramatically easing morning stiffness. To unlock these joint-saving benefits, always consume flax seeds ground rather than whole, as whole seeds often pass through the digestive tract unabsorbed. Simply stir 2 tablespoons of freshly ground flaxseed daily into warm oatmeal, green smoothies, or homemade baked goods. While ground flaxseed rebuilds your cell membranes and quenches circulating inflammatory alarms from within, your body also requires a master biological switch to turn off chronic inflammation at the genetic level. That brings us to our fourth sacred biblical healing food, a vibrant golden rhizome that has traded along ancient spice roots since antiquity. 4. Turmeric, the golden biblical spice of cellular renewal. Throughout the ancient Near East and biblical regions, aromatic rhizomes and golden spices held an elevated status alongside frankincense and myrrh. Recorded in sacred historical texts and celebrated across ancient Mediterranean trade networks, golden spices were prized as luxurious treasures, medicinal ointments, and powerful natural remedies for soothing deep physical ailments and purifying the blood. If you have ever felt a dull, persistent throbbing deep inside your joints, as if your cartilage is constantly bathed in heat, you are experiencing an overactive genetic master switch known to modern science as nuclear factor kappa B. When NF-kappa is activated by stress, toxins, or poor diet, it enters your cell nuclei and turns on over 400 different inflammatory genes. This floodgate triggers a cascade of destruction that breaks down cartilage collagen, inflames the synovial lining, and keeps your joints in a perpetual state of pain. Modern clinical research has discovered that curcumin, the primary bioactive polyphenol giving turmeric its brilliant yellow-gold pigment, acts as a potent natural inhibitor of NF-kappa B. By blocking this genetic trigger at the cellular root, curcumin prevents the cascade of inflammatory signaling before it can spread to your joint tissue. Clinical trials published in leading medical journals demonstrate that standardized curcumin extracts provide joint pain relief and stiffness reduction comparable to standard non-steroidal anti-inflammatory medications, but without causing gastrointestinal distress or cardiovascular strain. Curcumin also neutralizes free radicals, curbing the oxidative stress that degrades joint tissue over time. Because raw curcumin is challenging for the human digestive tract to absorb on its own, ancient wisdom and modern science agree on how to activate its power. Always pair turmeric with a pinch of black pepper, which contains piperine, boosting curcumin absorption by up to 2,000%, and consume it alongside a healthy fat like extra virgin olive oil. Add a teaspoon of organic turmeric powder with a dash of black pepper into warm almond milk, golden soups, or daily roasted vegetables to bathe your joint cells in natural restorative comfort. While turmeric acts as a master genetic off-switch for systemic cellular inflammation, your joint cartilage still requires active protection against aggressive enzymes that literally digest your connective tissue day after day. That brings us to our fifth biblical superfood, a majestic, crown-bearing fruit revered across Scripture for its extraordinary restorative power. 5. Pomegranate, the regal fruit that shields cartilage from erosion. In ancient biblical history, few fruits held a more sacred status than the pomegranate, Punica granatum. Woven into the hem of the high priest's holy garments and carved into the grand pillars of King Solomon's temple, this vibrant red jewel was prized as one of the 7 blessed species of the Promised Land. Biblical generations cherished the pomegranate not only as a symbol of spiritual abundance, but as a potent natural remedy for restoring strength, purifying the blood, and keeping the physical frame resilient. Have you ever listened closely to your joints when you stand up from a chair or walk down a flight of stairs? That subtle crunching, popping, or grinding sensation, known medically as crepitus, is the physical sound of cartilage wearing thin. When inflammation rages inside a joint space, your immune cells release destructive enzymes called matrix metalloproteinases, MMPs. Think of MMPs as microscopic organisms that slowly eat away at the smooth collagen cushion separating your bones. Modern biochemical research reveals that pomegranates contain some of the most potent antioxidants found in nature, specifically unique polyphenols known as punicolagens and elagitanins. Clinical studies published in prominent rheumatology journals show that pomegranate extracts directly inhibit the inflammatory signaling molecule interleukin-1 beta. By blocking interleukin-1 beta, pomegranate polyphenols effectively shut down the production of those cartilage-destroying MMP enzymes. In laboratory trials, joint tissue exposed to pomegranate compounds demonstrated a dramatic reduction in collagen breakdown and a noticeable decrease in localized joint heat. The fruit's powerful antioxidants act like a physical shield around your cartilage, slowing structural degradation and preserving smooth, friction-free joint movement. To incorporate this biblical treasure into your daily routine, drink 4 to 6 ounces of pure, 100% organic unsweetened pomegranate juice daily, or enjoy half a cup of fresh pomegranate arils sprinkled over morning oatmeal or fresh salads. While the polyphenols in pomegranate shield your cartilage collagen from destructive enzymes, your joint tissues also require a continuous, unimpeded supply of clean, oxygenated blood to flush out metabolic waste and deliver vital nutrients for cellular repair. That brings us to our 6th biblical healing superfood, a pungent, sulfur-rich bulb that has served as a foundational natural medicine since the dawn of recorded history. 6. Garlic, the biblical purifier of blood and vessels. Throughout biblical antiquity, garlic, Allium sativum, was deeply prized across the ancient Near East for its unmatched ability to restore physical stamina, ward off pestilence, and cleanse the body's internal pathways. Recorded in the Torah as one of the cherished foods of Egypt and Israel, ancient builders and laborers relied heavily on raw garlic to sustain physical endurance and maintain joint mobility. Under extreme physical hardship, ancient healers recognized garlic not merely as a culinary staple, but as a primary systemic purifier. Have you ever noticed how cold, damp weather or poor blood circulation seems to worsen your joint stiffness, making your fingers feel tight, your knees feel heavy, and your lower back ache with a dull, throbbing weight? When your micro blood vessels become constricted or damaged by chronic systemic inflammation, your body cannot efficiently remove inflammatory metabolic waste products like uric acid and lactic acid from your joint capsules. This stagnant buildup creates localized swelling, stiffness, and constant nerve irritation. Modern pharmacological research reveals that garlic is nature's single most potent source of organosulfur compounds, most notably allicin, S-allylcysteine, and diallyl disulfide. Clinical trials published in prominent medical journals demonstrate that garlic acts through three distinct anti-inflammatory mechanisms. Inhibition of inflammatory cytokines. Garlic extracts significantly suppress the production of major inflammatory messengers, including tumor necrosis factor alpha, interleukin-6, and nuclear factor kappa B, turning down the body's internal alarm systems. Promoting endothelial nitric oxide. Garlic stimulates the production of nitric oxide in the inner lining of your blood vessels. Nitric oxide causes tight, constricted vessels to relax and dilate, dramatically increasing blood flow and oxygen delivery to oxygen-starved, inflamed joint tissues. Neutralizing oxidative stress. The potent sulfur compounds in garlic quench harmful free radicals that oxidize cellular membranes and degrade synovial fluid. In clinical studies focusing on patients with knee osteoarthritis and inflammatory joint conditions, daily garlic supplementation led to a statistically significant reduction in pain severity and inflammatory blood markers, while noticeably improving daily physical mobility. To unleash the full therapeutic power of garlic, crush or chop fresh raw garlic cloves and let them sit at room temperature for 10 minutes before cooking or consuming. This critical rest period allows the natural enzyme alliinase to convert alliin into bioactive allicin. Enjoy 1 to 2 crushed raw cloves daily, mixed into fresh salad dressings, raw honey, or warm bone broth. While the sulfur compounds in garlic dilate constricted blood vessels and sweep away metabolic waste from your joint capsules, your body also requires a rich source of alkaline minerals and buffering polyphenols to neutralize the internal acidic environment that accelerates cartilage breakdown. That brings us to our 7th sacred biblical superfood, a sweet, nutrient-dense fruit deeply embedded in the miraculous healing traditions of Scripture. 7. Figs, the ancient alkaline medicine for bone and joint health. From the early chapters of Genesis to the parables of the New Testament, the fig tree, Ficus carica, stands as a profound symbol of peace, vitality, and health. In 2 Kings 20, when King Hezekiah lay gravely ill with a painful, life-threatening inflammation, the prophet Isaiah prescribed a simple yet powerful biblical remedy, a poultice pressed from crushed figs. Applied directly to the inflamed tissue, the severe swelling subsided, and the king's strength was fully restored. For thousands of years, biblical generations relied on figs not merely as a delicious staple, but as a prized natural medicine for soothing deep-seated bodily aches and restoring physical vigor. Have you ever experienced that deep, heavy soreness in your hips, knees, or wrists after eating a meal high in refined sugars or processed foods? Modern diets frequently create a state of low-grade metabolic acidosis, a condition where excess metabolic acids circulate continuously through your bloodstream. To neutralize this acidity and keep your blood pH balanced, your body is forced to leach essential alkaline minerals like calcium and magnesium directly from your bones and joint cartilage. Over time, this chronic mineral drain weakens bone density, dries out cartilage linings, and leaves joint tissues raw, inflamed, and prone to painful grinding. Modern nutritional science reveals that dried and fresh figs are one of nature's most concentrated plant sources of essential alkaline minerals, specifically potassium, magnesium, and calcium, alongside potent anti-inflammatory polyphenols like luteolin and quercetin. Clinical research demonstrates that the rich mineral matrix in figs acts as a natural systemic buffer. By restoring proper acid-alkaline balance, figs prevent the body from stripping minerals from bones, preserving joint matrix integrity and bone density. Furthermore, the polyphenols in figs actively downregulate key inflammatory cytokines, including interleukin-1 beta and tumor necrosis factor alpha, reducing the swelling, stiffness, and friction that makes simple daily movements feel excruciating. To enjoy the joint-soothing benefits of this ancient fruit, eat 2 to 3 organic fresh or dried figs daily. You can also soak dried figs in warm water overnight to soften their natural fibers and enjoy them alongside your morning tea or steel-cut oats. When you step back and look at these 7 sacred provisions together, extra virgin olive oil, frankincense resin, golden flaxseed, vibrant turmeric, rich pomegranate, fresh garlic, and sweet figs, you begin to see a breathtaking divine blueprint for physical renewal. Ancient wisdom did not view health as a collection of isolated symptoms to be silenced with chemical masking agents. Instead, it recognized that when you nourish the human frame with whole, living foods provided by nature, you ignite the body's innate, God-given capacity to cool internal fires, repair worn connective tissues, and restore comfortable fluid movement. Imagine what becomes possible when you weave these 7 biblical superfoods into your daily routine. You begin your morning with a spoon of ground flaxseed stirred into warm oatmeal and a cup of golden turmeric tea, paired with black pepper. You prepare your meals bathed in cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil and freshly crushed garlic. You snack on sweet alkaline figs and enjoy a glass of rich pomegranate juice. Within weeks, the deep, throbbing heat inside your joints begins to cool. The morning stiffness that once made getting out of bed a struggle gives way to flexible, painless steps. Your body was not created to spend its golden years trapped in chronic pain or dependent on synthetic quick fixes that burden your liver and stomach. You hold the power to reclaim your mobility, protect your independence, and enjoy every precious moment with your children, grandchildren, and loved ones. If this deep dive into biblical health wisdom and modern nutritional science touched your heart today, please press that like button right now. It helps this message reach others who are silently struggling with joint stiffness and searching for clean, natural hope. Drop a comment below and tell me, which of these 7 biblical healing foods are you going to add to your kitchen counter today? Are you starting with olive oil, turmeric, or perhaps fresh garlic? I read every single comment and love hearing your journey. If you haven't subscribed yet, click that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss our weekly guides on ancient wisdom and modern health. Share this video with a friend or family member who needs joint comfort today. Thank you for walking this path of health and healing with us.